Hello, everyone, and welcome to Matcha Talk. I'm so excited to introduce my next guests. They are Raychel Flemming and Rychard Grant. You've seen Raychel's work on Bad Day Kate and the Babies. She is an incredible animator and illustrator, and I have had the wonderful honor of working with her on both of my animated series. And I'll also be having a little bit of a chat with her fiancé, Rychard Grant, which I'm very, very excited about because he is also an animator and a game developer. You'll see some of his characters on my website, baddaykate.com. So they're both an incredibly, wonderfully talented couple, and I'm excited to share this talk with them and you. So let's get started. Everybody grab your matchas and let's go. Hello everyone and welcome to Matcha Talk. I am so super excited to introduce my guest, Miss Raychel Flemming. You'll recognize her work from Bad Day Kate and the Babies animated series. I'm so excited to have Raychel on, but not just Raychel, also Rychard, her fiance, who is also a very talented animator and game developer. So it's just amazing for me to have both of you on because you're just like the power couple of creativity. And so thank you so much for being on my Matcha Talk.
Well, thank you so much for having us on here. It's really exciting. We've never done this before, so we're kind of excited to share our world, I guess.
I'm excited as well. I'm so excited, Raychel, because I have to say, and I said it earlier in my vlog, I am so honored to work with such a talented artist because your work is incredibly beautiful. And the first time I saw just your illustrations, I was like, this artist is absolutely amazing. I have to get to know her. I have to work with her. She's incredible, and your work just shines. And you've done just incredible work with Bad Day Kate and the Babies. And walk me through. I know, it's awesome. And my Matcha Talk with Mary White banner, an incredible little podcast illustration. Yes, definitely. So thank you so much. And I want to know about you, like how you walk through your creative process, because you also have your own illustrated novel, right, Riven, which we're going to get into because I'm super excited to talk about that. Don't forget, Rychard, I'm going to get to you. Don't worry. Don't you worry. You just sit there and relax, grab Rachel's matcha, and we'll get started with you in a bit. But I want to know, Raychel, talk to me about your background, how you got into animation and illustration and all that great stuff.
Well, that's a very interesting story because since I was a kid, I always loved to draw. I've always liked to create and write stories and everything like that. So I guess the one thing that got me really into wanting to be an animator, believe it or not, was a song. And it was it Take On Me by Aha? And
love
the idea of what they did and the rotoscoping and just the animation and how they mixed everything. But then on top of that, getting into Disney when I was younger and watching all those movies and collecting it and watching, wanting to make my stories come to life like that. So I guess throughout school, all I did was write stories, and try to get them out there. And then when I go back and look at them, I'm like, oh my God, these are bad.
Stop judging. I know. It's like you're in the zone and you're like, yes. And then you're like, your mind starts to think and you're like, and then you go, no, they are great. Or they're on the way to being great, right?
That's usually what winds up happening. But I guess later on, after graduating, I took a few years off to decide what I wanted to do, and then finally decided, you know what? I want to go to school for being an animator and an illustrator. So I went to the Art Institute, graduated. Woo! So it makes me feel very accomplished.
Yes.
And so with that, I was like, what else do I want to do? I don't want to just be an animator. I want to create my own stuff on the occasion if I don't get hired by a company. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I want to make my own, and I want to have my own stuff instead of just working on everybody else's. So that's when Riven happened, and little short stories for animated shorts that I would like to do that could possibly be made into full films, you know, just to get it out there and just spread my wings and do it. So he usually helps me to come up with my stories, or I'm like, I'm stuck on this. Can you help me? Because I'm slightly panicking. And he's like, calm down.
And that's the best. Yeah. Because I'm like, because the creative process, definitely to have someone, and we're going to talk about the both of you, to have someone there as your other half, right? Your partner who's also creative and who can give you some ideas or some insight, right? Because sometimes when you're really close to something, you're like, you take a deep breath and you go, well, what are your thoughts on this? And they're always honest. Aren't they always honest?
You're like, Raychel?
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah. And you're like, no, it doesn't. Maybe we can change something, right? So, which is why we love them most, right? So we love to hear it, but then somehow we kind of follow our own voice anyway. But it's really, really nice and they understand the creative process as well, which I think is super, super important. Yeah. So really, really great. So you graduated, right? And then also you said you started Riven, which I totally want to talk to you about because I've seen the illustrations. I love what you're coming up with. So talk to me about Riven because it's so magical and beautiful.
Well, it started out in school, believe it or not. It was a class assignment. And we had to come up with a unique character. So I just came up with Morgan and just a tiny little backstory of, you know, who she was. And we had to do a 3D model of her. So my teacher fell in love with the idea of her and her look, and he was like, you should really do something with this. So I started thinking about, hey, I like to write, so why don't I make my own novel? I mean, I don't go to school for it, but I decided to take a creative writing class just to see what my teacher thought, because she was a writer. And, you know, she did freelance writing, and she published a few things. And when I had her, she was like, I think you should really start writing, because she's like, you're a really good writer. And I was like, okay, cool.
I knew it. I knew I was. I knew it. Thank you for that.
So because she told me that, I started reading a lot more books that were similar to my ideas. So I read a lot of Anne Rice and
love Anne.
Laurel K. Hamilton and Catherine Marie Moning. Like, I just read a lot of stuff that would be close to my books. And so when I started writing Riven, I was like, this is very nerve-wracking, so I want to do my research and kind of make it magical, and I want Riven to be my Harry Potter.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
I want it to be my Harry Potter, my Lord of the Rings, my Game of Thrones. You know, that is what it is to me. It's like literally my life.
I know, because look at how you're shining. Look at you. Yes. Absolutely.
I try to draw a lot of images that will go along with my books. They're mostly scenes from the books that I think of randomly that just help me write, because I write very sporadically. I won't be able to focus on chapter 1 because I'm writing something that's further along in the book because I'm excited about that particular thing
that
I dreamt about. But other than that, Riven it's going to be my life. So I am putting so much into it, and hopefully I can have a few chapters out. I'm really trying to push to get it out by the end of the year, so then I can have a lot of chapters that people can read online for free before actually getting it published. So this way I can just have, some, what's the word?
Like fan base?
Well, yeah, fan base would be a good word.
I think that's a given.
Yeah, like inside and, just have like beta readers and stuff like that, just to see what people think of it thus far. So, yeah, I'm really trying to push for that.
I love that. And I love because you can follow your creative process on your Facebook page, which, by the way, is going to be on, my Matcha Talk Facebook page as well as my website. Just letting you all know. So definitely give a follow because I'm always inspired with your posts and what you do, Raychel. It's really, really beautiful. And I think it's really important to, and it's okay to segue because I know through me, I'll be like, oh my gosh, in episode so-and-so of Kate, this is going to happen. Or in the season 2, this is going to, oh wait, the babies are going to have this. So when you have those flares of inspiration, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to go in some order because I think as artists, we don't go in order anyway, right? Different. Richard's like, yeah. It's like different points of inspiration come to you at different times, and you honor that, and that's the passion that is just like the best, right? So walk me through your creative process. Like, what does that look like when you're like, okay, I've got that flair for Riven, in this chapter. What happens? Do you sketch? Do you start writing?
Yeah. Normally it starts off in my dream. I actually see all my drawings and my scenes in my dream. So what will end up happening, I'll wake up, if I don't have work, obviously. I'll set up my computer area, my sketching stuff. Yep. I'll have Pinterest on one thing to give me inspiration for images and ideas and clothes, and then I'll have Netflix on in the background, like just something on just so it can give just be noise. And I will start writing, and I'll just quickly write out the scene, regardless of how it sounds, what it looks like.
Right.
So I can get the words on paper. Then rewriting is rewriting and rewriting, obviously. So I do that, and once I feel like I have a good enough scene, I might draw a picture or an illustration to go along with it, which is what you would be seeing on Facebook. I'll have like a scene because I see it in my head, so I need to draw it out. And what helped me is I came up with this idea. It's the Riven art, the sketchbook for the Ranger ink. Yeah. Because I love those journals. So he took a awesome picture of it, bird's eye view. Yeah. And I draw digitally on the book to make it look like it's a part of the book. And so people could follow as if turning the pages through the art book. So later on, I'm going to add actual words to it so then it could be parts of the script and just something really cool to share during my process. And normally after I paint something, I post it, and then I'll be like, maybe I should change this. So it might be like different versions of it. But that's usually my process. Research, and have everything around me that inspires me. And of course, music.
Yes.
Yeah, Spotify. Yes. If I don't want Netflix, I'll have my headphones in, and I have my little working tunes on Spotify. And
got that playlist.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I have separate playlists, and I'll have, this is Riven playlist, or this is just drawing, and I have to listen to a whole bunch of different things to get me in that mindset. But usually when I'm in, nothing can distract me.
Oh yeah, because you're in the zone. It's like you're in the creative zone, and that's the best, right? It's the best place to be. And even if you have to kind of get back to yourself or take a little time off, you know what I mean? Like maybe a couple of days just to refresh, and which leads into my next question is, how do you, Raychel, fill your cup? So you have an amazing fiance who's completely supportive, right? And a beautiful family, because your babies are amazing. I love seeing photos of them, right? And my family, my husband, my babies fill my cup and nurture my soul. But what do you do as an artist as well to fill your cup, inspire yourself? Like, what does that look like for you?
Well, normally what helps me is meditating.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that helps. We do our chant.
Yes, we do.
We do every day. And pretty much just surrounding ourselves with more positive people and a more positive environment. playing video games or watching movies that's related to the stuff that we're trying to make. And we find, taking notes during things like that relaxes us and inspires us and makes us like really excited to do our own projects. So randomly, he would be playing a game or watching something, and my creativity would spark, and I'm like, what do you think of this? Do you think this is an awesome idea? He's like, I have no idea where this came from, but yeah.
That is awesome. I love it because it's so important to do. You know what I mean? It really, really is, because we are busy and we're doing this and we're doing that, and then we're working on this, and and then we have family time, and we actually have to like enjoy ourselves and get out, right? And kind of like having that work-life balance can be a challenge sometimes. So it's
Yeah, we go to the park a lot because
yes.
it's like the fresh air and being out of our house and out of your bubble.
Yes.
You get out, we get new ideas and things like that. So that's usually one of the big things to help us. Like if we have writer's block, I struggle with that a lot. Artist block and both writer's block. At the same time, it's very horrible. I feel like I can't draw or write, so I try to do something to just, work that out, or I'm just like, my brain is probably telling me I'm doing too much, so I would wind up taking a few days off and
take a break. Yep.
Literally do nothing.
Yeah. And that's okay. That's the thing, is like, it's okay to do that and to take a break and, you know what I mean, and give to yourself just that time, because you come back that much better and that much more inspired, right?
Yeah, I even do it at work.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. So thank you for that, Raychel. And, like I said, it's so wonderful working with you. Like seriously, like your work is just absolutely amazing. And, on Kate and the babies, and you just like always, I'll have my idea, my vision, and, collaborating with you and working with you is sheer joy. So I just appreciate you so much. And, and for me, this is like, it's just the best to have this chat and really, share you and your talent and what you're doing. And
thank you for giving me the opportunity to do so.
Of course, and many more to come. So that's for sure. Absolutely. And I'm going to put Mr. Rychard on the little hot seat right now, and give you a little bit of a talk. So tell me about you, Rychard. I know that you are incredibly talented. You've done animation, you're working on game development, your characters are incredible. I want to talk about them. So talk to me about you and kind of your background and how you got started in animation and game development, which is like amazing. So I love that.
Well, surprisingly, I didn't get into it till a bit later than I actually wanted to. I was in one of those spots in life that a lot of people find themselves in, which is I'm not sure what I want to do with my life. I wasn't sure where to go. I started out as an automotive technician. So when I got into that field, I wasn't really feeling that it was for me, and I wasn't sure what I wanted. And it wasn't until my parents, who have supported me beyond, what I thought they would. I always thank them for what they've done for me. They sat me down, they told me, what is it you love? What is it you love to do? That's what you need to do. And honestly, it was like video games. It was doing CG work and stuff like that. That's what I love, the technology behind it and everything like that. And 3 months later, I got into college, Art Institute, and I worked very hard, very late nights, a lot of no sleep. And I managed everything. I managed to graduate with Best in Show for my projects that I was able to do, so I was very proud of that. And then after that, I was able to decided to start working on my own projects, and I wanted to concentrate more on like character development and character design over animation, so that I can do a bunch of other stuff, but I tend to kind of stick to the designing of characters. I always found that to be very interesting, to come up with stuff out of my own head.
Absolutely. So tell me, because your characters are very interesting. And they'll be on my website as well as Matcha Talks Facebook page, which I'm excited about. But tell me about them. Like, tell me about the different characters, because they are different, right? You've got kind of like a zombie, and then you've got this really incredibly beautiful character, you know, which I'll have up. So talk to me about how you get inspired with these different characters.
Well, the inspirations come from many different things. Sometimes they come from dreams or like things I will visualize that I want to get out of my head, and other times it's from other video games or movies, or even Raychel. She'll inspire me a lot of times with things she's done. Like right now, I'm currently working on my version of like a Kunari from the Dragon Age series that I post work in progress of. But part of it was inspired a lot by her talks with Riven and stuff like that because of the fantasy part of it and everything. So, I mean, my inspirations come from different areas. And also, like, I've always been a fan of horror, but it's also a way, I'm sure many other artists, same way, it's a way to get a part of me out, express a side of me a lot of people don't see. And a lot of these dark things I would do is because in my younger years, I did go through pretty dark times and dealing with depressions and stuff like that. So it's a way to kind of it helps me in a way to get it out. Yeah.
Absolutely. Which is really, really important. And it's your voice, right? So that's your voice that you are expressing, which is really, really important. And I know that you said game development. So what can you share? Because I don't want you to share anything that, you know, you don't want to, but can you give us just a little bit about what you're kind of working on? Because you know I love the video games, so get us excited.
Well, right now we currently have 2 projects in the line. It's I'm teaming up with Raychel, we're our own company. She's helping out.
Yes.
And our first project, which is our main project, is our very large project. And that's going to be it's going to be a horror themed, but more psychological.
Okay.
It's not like your typical jump scares and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
It's a lot deeper in its meaning. And that one is very large in scale and very, going to be a little difficult at this moment. So we're going to start with something smaller. So we have a smaller project in the works.
Still horror.
Still in the genre of horror. Nice.
Yeah.
Is there a VR world in there somewhere where we're going to be a part of this whole?
It's a possibility. I'm looking into the whole VR and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The work obviously isn't as fast as I'd like it to be, but that's kind of what happens when we have jobs and it's like me and Raychel just basically doing a few things with a couple other people. So we're taking our time with it because I want to make sure it's perfect.
Exactly. And the thing is too, when you do just start working on your game, it's not a fast process. Like any game developer will tell you, right? They're not like, they've created this magical game within like a month's period. I mean, it takes a long time of development, and it's not just you, it's a whole team of people, right? From all of these different parts of the game industry working on this one game. And that takes a long time. So you all are working on it together. And I think the key that you said, Rychard, is that, you want to make sure that it is aligned with what you want it to be. And also, the most important thing, and I say this over and over, is do what you can where you are right now. Right? So right now you're here, you're going to be there, but what can you do to make everything that you can right now valuable, right? And building the game, bullet pointing what your vision is, seeing it in the way that you want it to be is most important, and then working towards that. And it's not a race, right? It's not a race to get to the finish line. It's just making the best version and vision of what you want in your creativity. So I think that's what's most important. But, talk to me just a little bit about what does it take to develop a game? What does that look like?
It takes a lot of patience, first of all.
Yeah.
And a lot of time. Going through school, I've met many people, and I'm sure others have met many people about how they want to create a game and want to do stuff, but a lot of people don't want to put in the time and effort to it because as fun and as great as it can be to create something from scratch and create your own game, there's going to be a lot of hurdles you're going to have to jump over. There's going to be a lot of hard times, and it takes, honestly, just determination. You gotta have the will to want to go on. You gotta have the inspiration, the drive to just basically push through it and see it to success.
Yes, perseverance, patience and persistence, right? Jason, and I always say the 3 P's. So you need to have those because they're very, very important. And you did a key, where you're like, everyone wants to do all of these great things, right? I have this, I have that, I have this, but it takes time and it can be challenging. And, you have to keep moving forward. And, and I think that's where your passion comes through. That's when you talk about what you're working on and you're excited about it. And it's the best thing in the world. So you could take that power nap, with me, power naps and matchas, right? Because they keep me fueled up and going, and of course, taking time for yourself, your family, and giving that time to nurture yourself. Raychel, you were saying going to the park, and just getting outside and getting that fresh air and all of that to kind of give back to yourself. Because really, when you love what you do and you do what you love, it doesn't feel like work. Is it work? Absolutely. It is, but it doesn't feel like it. Yeah. You know what I mean? At all, because it's just like, it's what gives your soul joy. And that's what's most important, so I think that's what's important to keep in mind. And what do? I asked Raychel what she does to kind of fill up her creative cup and give to herself. And of course, you have one another to really support and nurture yourselves and inspire one another when it can be challenging and, and all of that stuff. You're questioning, should I, all of that nonsense, right? But you come back together. But what do you do for yourself to give to yourself so that you could give to your art and to Raychel?
Some of it comes from video games. Some of it comes from movies, like she said. A lot of times, like for me, the weird thing is I'll be doing something that's not relative in any way. We're going to the park, we're doing something, and a lot of times inspiration will just click in my head, and I'll get something that inspires me, and right then and there, I'll stop Rachel, and I'll be like, oh, what do you think of this? And this has to happen, this is going to happen, and all that. And Rachel's like, it's just hitting me.
Yeah.
And usually, like a lot of artists, when I get that hit or that inspiration, it drives me to just want to continue it out, and I want to keep pushing it through. So it comes from various places, but a lot of times my mind will just kind of combine some things, and I come up with my own idea, and I'm just like inspired right then and there, just trying to put it out of my head.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you two are incredible. So I have to find out how you met, how you both inspire one another together, which you've talked about a little bit, and of course your babies and just everything that you have going on. But I want to know about you and how you met. And I need to know that, because that is like, I know is going to inspire so many others, because love truly is what it's about. And when you find that other half of yourself, it's just like, it is what life is about. Right. Yeah. So what was the moment? Where were you? All of that wonderful stuff. Share. Look, I'm like getting all like excited. I'm gonna grab my matcha. Wait, I even brought like my mug. Love for you both. Yeah. Because I was having you on. So talk to me. Talk to me about how you met.
How do you want to start?
Well, it was obviously during school.
It was like a couple months after we just started. So it was our first year in school.
Uh-huh.
Second semester.
Yes.
And we met in trigonometry.
Oh, fun.
Ever had in my life.
Now, some of you may enjoy trigonometry.
We met, and he came into the room, and if for any of you that watch Naruto, he had a Sasuke haircut. Like, it was long and then spiked up here, and it was just excellent.
That's
awesome.
He
sat down, and I told him, hey, I love your hair. And he turned around and gave me the most beautiful smile I ever saw, and that was it. My heart was on the floor, and I was like, oh, he has to be mine.
You're like, I'm hooked. That's it.
That's literally it for me.
Oh, I understand.
Months of friendship, and then it just kind of turned into us. Are we dating?
Right.
It rarely happened like that. Are we together?
That is awesome. Oh my God.
Later.
The more I got to know her, the more I couldn't believe like who I was meeting, because she was like perfect in every way for me, with everything that I liked and everything I was interested in, and it was just she came at a time too that was not the best time for me either, because I just had an ex basically dump me and it hurt and everything, so I was not in the best times and best areas. But it's like when she came around, it was almost like life or the universe itself kind of like giving me exactly what I wanted all these years, like just always been dying for someone who was just perfect for me. No. And then on top of that, she makes me a better person. That's what I like, is that she drives me to be better. She pushes me to be better, and I can't imagine doing anything without her. So
it's my BFF.
I love it. And that is so beautiful and so true, Rychard, is that, it's the right time, everything at the right time, but that person, when you meet them, and I know with Jason, it's like you instantly know, right? Like, you look at them and you're just like, he's the one. Or she's the one, and it doesn't matter where you are, because in that moment, everything is perfect, right? And it's just like, it literally is like the other half of your soul just came together with yours. And there's no words that can express that kind of power and that kind of love. And the most important thing too is that you grow together. You're both independent with one another, right? So you both are very much strong, powerful artists, and together you're that much better. So you inspire one another, you help one another be better, and you grow together. And that is like, it's the best and the most amazing thing in the world. And, and that to me is what it's about. And, also I think, no matter what you're going through, when you have someone that you love, or you're on that path that you're like thinking that person is out there, right? Because before we met the love of our lives, we knew inside of our lives, no matter what, that person is going to be there. Like, it's just like, it's a knowing, it's a quiet knowing. You know what I mean? That you have in your life, and it guides you through the nonsense. Where you're like, okay, this is temporary, you know what I mean? Gonna park that for some dialogue later. A little character research there. Hence, you know what I mean? It's so true. And that's why, like with Kate, and it's so funny because, Kate started as a webisode. It was kind of like, her breaking up with this part of herself that wasn't, important to her, and then starting this journey, but also coming from self-inspiration. But really what it's about is love. So, and I just want to say thank you so much, both of you, for being a part of my talk. And I want to know, like, if you both could give someone, whether it's a relationship, whether it's an artistic view, whatever it is, if you can give someone a valuable thought or insight or something that you both have learned, what would it be?
Want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
For me, what I tell people is, no matter how hard it gets and no matter how negative a lot of people will be around you, because you will meet a lot of negative people when you're very ambitious, you have to keep hope alive. You have to keep your chin up and keep pushing and keep going. I found that even though your circle of friends might be small when it comes to having supportive people around you, it's best to not keep those people who will keep you down. Because if you have those anchors tied to you, then you're never going to make it to the surface.
Definitely.
I love that.
It's all about staying focused, and I definitely agree with what he said, to not have those negative people around you, because that does affect a lot of people in a way. Even those people could be family members. Some people don't want to see you succeed, and they will do anything or say anything in their power to keep you from succeeding. So I like to think I have my tiny little world, and if there's nobody in this world that's going to help me grow and to be successful and move forward, they don't need to be in this little circle.
Yeah.
So whatever it is you want to do, just do it. That is it. That's it. You want to write, do it.
Right.
Write every single day, no matter if it's bad. I had to learn that, right? Every single day. You want to draw, you want to be better than some of the people in your life, you want to be better than an artist, or, you know, you practice every single day. It doesn't matter.
I met a lot of people who would be upset because they're not as good as me or they're not as good as the other person. I tell them, you just need to just practice. You need to keep going. You need to keep pushing, and you get better.
Absolutely. And I think that's really important too. Like, you both are very positive and, you know, incredible people and artists. And, you know, I'm just so fortunate to know you and work with you. And I think that's really important because there is a lot of negativity, and you know what I mean? And you have to see it for what it is and just really focus on what is positive and around positive people and art. And you can't compare yourself to somebody else. You know what I mean? It's your voice. Rychard, you have your voice. Raychel, you have your voice. You have your story to tell with Ribbon. You know, Rychard, you have your stories to tell with your games and everything else that you're going to be creating. Everyone has their own voice. So it's not comparing ourselves, but to have the courage to actually get out there and do it. And, you know, and keep doing it, because the more that you do it, the better you're going to get. But there is no bad and there is no terrible. There just is what you create. And I think that's the most important thing, is just keep creating, right? Most importantly, have love, right? That's the most important thing, whether it be with your beautiful other half or with yourself, your family, your babies, whatever it is. Have that big, beautiful love that will then inspire your creativity and having the courage to go after what you love and what makes you shine, because you both shine incredibly. And thank you so much for taking time to chat with me on my Matcha Talk. It's been an honor. Like, seriously, it really, really has been. And thank you so much again. And you have the rest of the day to go have a day in the park, because it's nice and sunny today. So we're going to take that.
Beautiful outside today. We really might go to the park today. You want to go to the park?
Sure.
Yay!
That sounds amazing. And like I said, I'm going to have Raychel and Rychard's website on both my Matcha Talk Facebook page and website. So you'll get to see all of their amazing work. And thank you both so much. And go and enjoy your wonderful day. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me on this episode of Matcha Talk with the talented Raychel Flemming and Rychard Grant. It was so fun to have them on Matcha Talk, both incredibly talented artists, and you can see more of Raychel's work on baddaycake.com, and go to baddaycake.com's guest page to go to Raychel's websites and find out more about Riven. And you can also go and view Rychard's character models and game development, at least what he wants to share, on my guest page. Definitely incredible artists, and I'm so fortunate to work with the amazingly talented Raychel Flemming and to allow you all to see a little bit into both of their worlds. So thank you so much for joining me. And to find out more about my animated series, Bad Day Kate, and Kate's spin-off series, The Babies, go to baddaycake.com. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel so you are in the know with some of the most talented artists in the industry that are a constant inspiration to me, and I know will also inspire you. So everyone, grab your matchas and remember, do what you love and love what you do. you.